A hydrosalpinx is a blocked fallopian tube that contains fluid. They're usually blocked at the distal end of the fallopian tubes. The distal end is located nearest to the ovaries. I found some pictures in the British Medical Journal. Sorry if you find them a bit gruesome. This is a picture of a woman's right hydrosalpinx. They said it was about the size of a duck egg. And you can see it's twisted over there. And this one is just filled with blood. So it's actually not a hydrosalpinx, it's a hematosalpinx. Okay, the other picture from the same woman. Let me enlarge that for you. I'll get rid of this. Have a look at the ruler first. That's about 14 centimeters. Okay, here, this isn't a hydrosalpinx. This is actually her ovarian cyst. And this represents teeth. So they just wanted to show that it had teeth. And I'll tell you about the article later. And this is a hydrosalpinx, and they said it was about the size of a hen's egg. You can see it's all twisted. I got some pictures from the Western Journal of Medicine. They're all of HSGs. This one shows normal fallopian tubes. You can see the liquid going into the uterus, and here it goes into the fallopian tubes. See how tiny they are? And there we go, they're tiny. And then here, that's actually the liquid just pouring out. These fallopian tubes are not blocked, so what happens, it just pours out of the sides. This picture is a hydrosalpinx on both sides. Over here, the fluid isn't flowing out, it's actually just gathering. And they're saying that the fimbria has sort of tucked itself in on this side of the fallopian tube. On the other side, there's a bit of beading there. And the doctors think this is due to a spasm in the fallopian tube. They took an X-ray of the same woman 24 hours later, and you can see that the fluid is still there. So there's nowhere for it to go. Some of it would have run down into the uterus out of the vagina, but it's just stuck here. So that's how doctors at that time were able to tell whether there was a hydrosalpinx or not. The first few pictures I showed you were from an article published in the British Medical Journal in 1949. A 24-year-old woman was complaining of a sharp pain in her pelvis. She said it felt like a knife. The doctors examined her and found a small swelling on her right side, which she said was very tender. When they opened her up surgically, they found a hydrosalpinx as big as an egg. It had twisted about 1.5 times in a clockwise direction. They found an even bigger one on the right side that was even more twisted. The right fallopian tube's blood supply had been blocked, and it had completely filled with blood, so this was the hematosalpinx I showed you earlier. The doctors reported that an adhesion had blocked the tubes, and it was this blockage that had caused the hydrosalpinges to occur. They performed a salpingo-oophorectomy on the left side. This is a surgical procedure to remove both the ovary and the fallopian tube. They removed the ovary and both fallopian tubes because the woman also had a dermoid ovarian cyst, the size of a pear, and it had grown teeth. According to the article, the doctors mounted the ovary and fallopian tubes for preservation and put them in the hospital museum. The study didn't mention all that much about the woman's state of health or her medical background, but when I read it, it made me think about how important it is to be in touch with your body, with techniques like Chinese fertility massage. Massaging the fallopian tubes and ovaries can help you to identify these areas of tenderness before they get so serious you need to have them taken out. It's also very beneficial in invigorating the uterus, ovaries and fallopian tubes. The reason why I recommend alternative remedies is because if you have a hydrosalpinx, you'll be 50% less likely to conceive with IVF than women without the hydrosalpinx. A study at Yale University compared the results of thousands of IVF cycles and found that implantation decreased by 50% in women with a Hydrosalpinx and miscarriages doubled. Personally, I think removing your fallopian tubes to get pregnant is a bit too drastic, especially considering that there are alternatives out there that don't involve surgery or drugs. There's a natural 7-step procedure for removing Hydrosalpinxes and opening up blocked fallopian tubes. Completing all of these 7 steps is the most reliable way to get pregnant with any kind of fallopian tube blockage. That's all I have for today, but you can download a free ebook that explains what these 7 steps are. It's at www.blockedfallopiantubes.com.